Peppermint candy feels innocent, cool, sweet, nostalgic. But many Christmas peppermint brands hide artificial dyes banned overseas, chemical menthols that burn your throat, low-grade sweeteners, glazes made from insect shellac, and ingredients more suited for a chemistry lab than your holiday bowl. These are 7 peppermint candy brands you must avoid this Christmas. 1. Brach's Peppermint Candy Canes. Brach's is everywhere during Christmas, grocery stores, pharmacies, gift baskets, and people buy them out of habit. But these candy canes are one of the most chemically engineered peppermint candies on the market. The red stripes come from artificial dyes like Red 40, Red 3, and Blue 1, all of which are banned or restricted in multiple countries due to hyperactivity risks and behavioral concerns in children. They also use heavy corn syrup bases created to stay hard during long shipping cycles. But that same syrup gives them a plasticky crunch instead of a clean snap. Then there's the flavor. Most peppermint candies use at least some real peppermint oil, not Brach's holiday batches. These rely heavily on synthetic menthol, a lab-made cooling agent that numbs your tongue instead of refreshing it. That's why some Brach's canes taste bitter near the end or leave a strange burning sensation in the throat. And because these are mass-loaded onto pallets months before December, they often sit in hot warehouses where the sugar melts slightly in the wrapper, causing that sticky film on your fingers. They're cheap, nostalgic, and everywhere, but quality-wise, Brach's Peppermint Candy Canes are an easy pass. 2. Spangler Peppermint Candy Canes, non-natural version. Spangler is one of the biggest candy cane producers in America, and while they have a natural line, the standard red and white peppermint canes are a completely different story. These are made with Red 40 Lake, one of the most controversial food dyes in the world, linked to migraines, allergic flare-ups, and behavioral issues in children sensitive to artificial coloring. The peppermint flavor isn't real peppermint oil. It's a synthetic cooling agent created to mimic mint while boosting the icy sensation. It tastes sharp, chemical, and slightly medicinal, especially when you let the candy dissolve slowly. The texture is also inconsistent. Spangler's cheaper batches tend to be brittle and crack easily because they're made with lower-grade corn syrup solids that crystallize during freezing and thawing cycles. Worst of all, Spangler canes melt into sticky goo if exposed to warm air for even one afternoon. That's because the sugar-to-corn syrup ratio is optimized for mass production, not stability. If you've ever opened a box only to find half the canes fused to the cardboard, that's Spangler's cheap formula at work. Their natural peppermint line is fine, but the mainstream Christmas version should absolutely be avoided. 3. Bob's Sweet Stripes, soft peppermint. Bob's Sweet Stripes have the reputation of being gentle, old-fashioned, and soft melt. But behind the nostalgia is a candy made almost entirely from air-whipped sugar and artificial flavor, not actual peppermint. These aren't traditional peppermint sticks. They're aerated sugar cylinders puffed up using industrial mixers. That's why they dissolve into a chalky paste instead of melting smoothly like real peppermint. The red stripes come from synthetic dyes, and the peppermint flavor is largely artificial menthol. The candy doesn't cool your mouth. It burns it slightly, which is a telltale sign of low-grade flavor chemicals. Bob's also adds hidden starches to hold the airy structure together, which can cling to dental work and create a gummy, unpleasant mouthfeel. People buy these because they seem light or easier on the teeth, but the opposite is true. Soft peppermint tends to stick more, dissolve unevenly, and leave sugary grit along your tongue. And because these candies absorb moisture easily, the flavor degrades quickly, leaving a strange cardboard-like aftertaste. If you want authentic soft peppermint, look for brands using real peppermint oil. Bob's is just a sugary cloud shaped like candy. 4. Redbird Soft Peppermint Puffs. Redbird markets its peppermint puffs as handmade, southern, and nostalgic. But the reality is that their holiday batches contain artificial flavor, artificial color, and stabilizers that give the candy a powdery, almost dusty texture. The pleasant melt you expect from soft peppermint is replaced by a grainy crumble that feels cheap and overprocessed. Unlike real peppermint candy made with peppermint oil, Redbird uses artificial mint essences, the same type used in low-cost gum or toothpaste flavorings. This gives the candy a chemical-tasting coolness rather than the fresh, herbal bite that real mint provides. Many consumers report these puffs tasting overly sweet, almost syrupy, because the sugar is aerated and blended with cornstarch, amplifying sweetness without adding depth. Despite the soft melt, the candy leaves a chalky residue on your tongue because of the stabilizers used to keep the airy shape intact. And while some packaging implies natural coloring, many batches still contain red 40, depending on distribution region. These are nostalgic, yes, but if you want peppermint with clean flavor, real ingredients, and no chalky mouthfeel, Redbird's Holiday Peppermint Puffs are not the way to go. 5. First Street/generic grocery store peppermint canes. No peppermint candy category is worse than the generic store-brand candy canes sold by warehouse clubs, discount chains, and grocery storehouse brands. These are the bottom of the peppermint pyramid, bulk manufactured overseas using the cheapest combination of sugar, artificial dyes, artificial peppermint flavor, and industrial-grade starch stabilizers. You can tell the quality instantly. The canes break at the slightest pressure, bend when unwrapped, or come out cloudy instead of shiny. That cloudy look comes from inconsistent heating cycles during production, a sign of poor temperature control. Many generic brands also use shellac-based glazes to make the candy look glossy, something most consumers have no idea they're eating. Flavor-wise, they're harsh and bitter, with a medicinal aftertaste caused by low-grade menthol compounds. The red dye stripes are often uneven or too dark because cheap dyes don't distribute well in mass-batch candy pours. If you've ever opened a cheap cane and smelled a strange chemical scent before tasting it, that's the dye and synthetic mint evaporating in warm air. These are the candy canes most likely to melt, fuse, crack, and taste awful. Save your money and choose anything else. 6. CVS/Walgreens Peppermint Twists and Canes. Pharmacy-branded peppermint candy is one of the most overlooked holiday traps. CVS and Walgreens peppermint canes and twists are repackaged bulk candy imported cheaply, and it shows. They're loaded with red 40, red 3, blue 1, and sometimes even petroleum-derived coatings that create the glossy finish. The flavoring is 100% artificial menthol, no actual peppermint oil, which gives the candy an aggressive cooling burn followed by a strange bitterness. The hardness level is inconsistent, too. Some pieces feel like glass, others crumble instantly. That's because these candies spend months sitting in warehouse pallets before stores even display them in December. They dissolve unevenly, leave a chalky residue on the tongue, and often have a stale taste that comes from improper packaging during international shipping. The peppermint twists are especially bad. Their swirl pattern is created using high-temp dye injection, which further intensifies the chemical flavor. These are the peppermint candies you buy in a pinch and regret 5 minutes later. If holiday flavor matters even a little, avoid pharmacy peppermint at all costs. 7. Candies Peppermint Crunch Thins. Candies mint chocolate is iconic, but Peppermint Crunch, their Christmas edition, is nothing like the original. Instead of smooth chocolate made with cocoa butter, the holiday version uses vegetable oil compound coating, a cheaper substitute that gives the chocolate a waxy, fake texture. The Peppermint Crunch bits are artificially flavored sugar crystals dyed with synthetic red coloring. The chocolate base is much sweeter than regular Candies mints, masking the lack of real cocoa flavor. And because these are mass-produced in seasonal megabatches, the crunch bits often taste chalky, like hardened sugar dust mixed with stabilizers. They cling to your teeth, leaving a strange artificial mint aftertaste. Even the natural flavor listed on the label is a lab-made peppermint analog, not real peppermint oil. That's why these candies taste more like toothpaste mixed with waxy chocolate than a refreshing mint treat. They look premium in a candy bowl, but they're one of the most artificial, over-sweetened peppermint chocolates sold during Christmas. If you want real mint chocolate, stick with Candies Originals. The Peppermint Crunch edition is festive only in color, not in quality.